Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to this lecture video. I'm sorry for being late because we had a meeting. Natitima pala naman meeting yan na. Yun. So, anyway. So, our topic for today is about cables. Cables. Okay, so, cables. Ini nga cables, syempre, dapat maaram na kamo, cables nga ni. It can only support tension. Di ba? It cannot support cables daw ka ng TV. No. Cables, it can only support tension and it cannot support compressive forces. So, amo dito niya. So, for this discussion, bidala ko duduhang examples. Magsusolve la ako yung duduhang examples and pakita ko hayo kung paano gid susolve, and I think this is enough. Tas maghatag naman ako later hin mga for your practice exercises. Okay. So let's have an example. Okay, wait. Okay, so let's have this one. Nababatean ba ako, madam? Okay. So let's have this one. Okay. Determine the tension in each segment of the cable and the cable's total length. So, naging papabiling din is the tension, of course, tension. Magpabiling nga nihin compressive forces, o ay na-solve, automatic, zero, ito niya, kay 10, it cables, it cannot support compressive forces. Okay? So, bangin kasi itpakianagin, ginkukuan lang ka mo. Sometimes, may dasuga dito. Okay, so, ang papabiling is the tension on each segment, ha. So, there are 3 segments. We have segment AB, we have segment BC, and segment CD. So, tutulo ka segment. So, unforced din ha AB, unforced din ha BC, unforced sa CD. And also, yung papabiling gihap, ang total length the total length of the cables. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now since this is pin man in here din he. Okay, pin in here din he. At point A, pin ito niya. Let me change the color of the pen. Yan. Okay, so at point A, this is pin, sorry. Okay, so kay pin man hiya so meda niya itong duduha iton it iya reaction. Of course, meda niya X reaction along X. Of course, dapat tension. Take note ha, tension la iton basta cable. Meda natin, let's name this as AX. Okay, wait lang. This is AX. And of course, may daghap naton din AY. This is AY. Yan. Okay, and at point D, may daghap naton din this is DX, and of course, may daghap DY. Or this DX or DY, this can be parang dx and dy is a component of a force. We can represent it as force d na lang. Let me write it here. Wait lang, ha? Let me write it. Let me erase it first. Something's wrong with my... let me erase it. Okay, so dinhi may naton d this is dx, tapos may dd dy. Okay, ini nga dx and dy, this can be represented by a single force, and that force, di ba, x and y component man ito niya, so it can be represented by a single force, and that force is the magnitude of the force. Let's name that force the force at D, or FD. Okay, FD. Ito nga force ng FD amon hiya. And the components of this force FD are dy and dx, the x and y component of the force FD. Okay? And also, ini nga FD, excuse me ha, ini nga FD, the force FD is actually equal to the force in segment CD. Ini, ang force nga aada, kumbaga kung imo nga din i-cut, if you cut the segment CD, makikita mo, may mo dito makikita nga force. And that force, ini nga force, let's name that force, the force CD, dili na, kukuha mo rin space. Okay, let me write it again. When you cut it here, may mo din yung force, this one, the force, this is the force at CD. Okay? And that force at CD, okay, tapos itong yung force at CD, this one ha, this force right here, is actually equal to the force D. So, ibig sabihin, ito reaction at point D is actually equal to the force at segment CD. Okay? So, kung aton do drawing on, it a free body diagram, we could draw it like this. Ano na, let me draw it again. Parang masugad. You have here the point A. I think diri kinikita. You have here the point A. Madididi it point B. And somewhere down, I did it point C. And somewhere here, I did it point D. Or ano nga connect this is the cable segment AB, segment BC. Tsaka man tapon ko drawing. Okay. Segment AB, segment BC, and inididaan segment, or this can begin imo na let yung force. This is the force CD. Yan. Tapos dito naman may mo force. Dito naman ako nakatadong ito. May mo didian. May mo didian AX. Nakikita ba ito red? Nakikita ba ito red? I think they're nakikita ito red. Let's use yellow.
Red naman. Red na red kaya.
Di rin nakikita. Hindi na lang nga yellow itap gamitan. AX. Tapos pwede di and AY. So natong ginbibiling nga forces yan hi. Yan. So this is the the forces. Tas of course may di ha point B, may di daan 50 pounds. Tapos di ha point C, may di daan 100 pounds. Yan. Take note with the distances ha. The distances 7, 4. Di ko na ibubutang di basta nakabutang na madilit mga distances. Okay. So ang ginpapabiling ha aton, take note, ayaw kita pag-deviate hangin papabiling ha aton. Ang ginpapabiling are the forces on segment AB, BC, and CD. So for now, it aton pala nakikita dito nga force is the force at segment CD. Di man nga FCD. Okay, so we will solve for that force. Okay. So paano natin iso-solve ito nga force? So ila iton. Makadi kita didi we will use the summation fx. Okay. We have no space na. We will use the summation fx. Dili na lang. Summation of forces. Summation of moment. Pag movement kita. Because if you consider this kita mo nga yan nga free body diagram. There are 3 unknowns. A D, tapos A D nga force. There are 3 unknowns. So, magbibiling kita ng equation, ang atong target is the FCD. So, magbibiling kita ng equation nga magbibiling kita ng equation nga diri api an AY and AX para an usalan imo unknown. An imo unknown la is FCD, di ba? If you have only one equation, and only then you can solve that equation. If the number of unknowns exceeds the number of equation, you can solve that system of equation or equations. Okay, so at atong bubuhaton, magsasum kita at moment at A. The reason kung kay ano nagsasangkit at moment at A and that is equal to 0 is because magsam nga ni kitan moment at point A and moment an AX is 0, ibig sabihin ang aton makikreate nga equation diri na include na an AX. The same with AY. An unknown la is the FCD. Okay? So we are taking the moment, summing the moment at A that is equal to 0 and we will take clockwise as the positive moment. Okay. Now, when you look at this when you look at this figure right here, let me erase the para malinisan natin. Excuse. Let me erase this one. Okay. So, at segment, saan na yung cursor? Nasaan ang cursor? Parang nawala man ang cursor. Okay. Di nadara ang cursor, madam.
Ginano mo man.
Oh, adi na. Nawawala ang cursor, sorry. Okay, so this one right here. Oh my god, di nadara takuan. Pen tab. What's happening? Di nadara. Wait lang ha, I'm having technical difficulties. What's happening? Diri na kuan itakon kuan. What's happening? Bakit? Wait lang ha, naglo-loading itakon kuan naghahang. Yan, okay. So this is AX. Okay, anyway. Okay, so we go here to the summation of moments at point A and that is equal to 0. What's happening? Bakit diri nadara? Naghahang mo nit akong kuan, pen tablet. Oo, diri nagsusurat ako diri na nasurat. Okay. Sige. We're summing the moment at point A. So, okay, una-untaan niya din ang 50. Adi man, this one, this force 50 that is equal to the moment of that force is 50 pounds multiplied by the moment arm and that is 4. Diba? Positive because clockwise man. And also, we have plus 100 pounds multiplied by 5 plus 4 because the distance, the perpendicular distance of this force from point A is 5 plus 4 and that is 9 feet. Okay? And also, we have this force, FCD. Okay, we don't know the perpendicular distance of this force from point A. Diba? So what we do is resolve natin inihiya into components. Meron niya din F, C, D, Y. The Y component of FCD. Meron niya the X component of FCD. The X component and the Y component. Okay? Diba? Because if you can still remember, according to Varignon's theorem, the effect of a force is equal to the sum of the effects of its component. So, an aton bibilngon din didihan aton pagkuan, didihan aton pagsamhan moment, exasam naton an components and force CD. Diri and force FD. CD ngayon. I'm sorry. Because we don't know the distance from the force CD, the perpendicular distance from the force CD to point A. Okay? So, we'll have this one. We have minus. Oops. We have minus. I'm taking the moment of FCDY. And that is FCDY multiplied by the distance of FCDY from A. Ano man din kumbaga ano din FCDY, let me write it here. Ano din FCDY, and this one is the FCDX, and this one right here is your FCD. Okay, adian natin yung moment. So the distance, perpendicular distance of this force from A, And that is, pera ba? 9 gihap, di ba? 9. And this force naman, the FCDX, minus gihap because that is counterclockwise. So we have the FCDX multiplied by, what's the distance? What is this distance? Meaning a distance. The perpendicular distance of FCDX to point A, and that is, pera ba? Unfortunately, we don't know, di ba? Dili kita maaram kung ano ito nga distance. You cannot determine the distance because we don't know. Di ba? Okay. So, ililive natin itong hiya as, we leave it at that. Okay? So, baka di kita. And in fact, di ba, kay gipapabilingan igyap ang cable's total length. So, maybe this is one of the problem. Okay, so ibubutang na natin, let's denote it as ano laanay. Say pera ba? X na lang, Y. Let's denote it as Y because it's along the Y axis. Okay, let's denote it as Y. Let's use multiplied by Y is equal to 0. Okay. Now, based on this ano, okay. We don't know kasi gyap diba an i-angle. We don't know gyap kasi an angle of inclination of FCD. Ini nga angle din he. So we don't know that angle, but we can express that angle in terms of ano ba? Okay, instead nga, wait lang ha. Para guti lang nga ano nit atong gagamiton ay kita paggamit it hini nga ba yan, wait lang ha. Let me erase this one. So instead nga white atong gagamiton para less nga unknown it aton we'll be dealing with less unknown. Let's denote ini from point D to point C, the perpendicular distance from point D to point C. Let's denote it as Y. And this one right here is, mara naman kita that is 4, di ba? So instead nga Y atong gagamiton, let's use Y plus 4. Let me erase. Okay, this is Y plus 4. Okay, nakuha ba kung di nyo Y plus 4? Take note, Y plus 4, that's the perpendicular distance from point C to point A. The perpendicular distance, and that is 4 plus this distance. Because we don't know this distance man, so gini-denote natin as Y. Okay. Now, when we look at this, our unknowns, tutulad aton unknowns, we have the FDY, kati ko kabaw-baw. Ano na daw, ubos ko lang na yan hinga mga kuhan. Yan hinga drawings. Wait lang, ubos ko lang. Yan. Okay. So, an aton unknown is FDY, FCDY, FCDX, and Y. Tutulad aton unknown. But we only have one equation so far. So, we cannot solve this one. But, by the way, we can express FCDY and FCDX in terms of paano? We can express that unknown in terms of paano ba? In terms of FCD, 'di ba? In terms of FCD because wait lang. Let's 50 times 4 this is 200 plus this is 900 minus the FCDY, that is FCD sine theta. Take note ang atong theta yada ha. Theta multiplied by 9 minus FCD cosine theta times Y plus 4. is equal to 0. So, ang aton unknown na naman, if CD, theta, and y. Tuloy lang that unknown. But still, we can express theta in terms of y. Diba? We can express theta in terms of y based from this, from this triangle. Ini nga triangle din. Ini. Diba? This is 3. This is y. We don't know that. And this is angle. So, we can express theta in terms of, and that is, okay, pera ba? If this is 3, this is y, this is square root of 3 squared plus y squared. 9 plus y squared, di ba? Yun na. Isarat ko daw didi. Asarang man ang triangle. Asaring. This is 3. This is y. Di ba? Dinote natin nga y. So, the hypotenuse is equal to the square root of 3 squared, that is 9, plus y squared. Di ba? Okay, so, ang cosine theta, adjacent over hypotenuse, that is 3 over the square root of 9 plus y squared. Di ba? And ang sine theta naman, that is the opposite over hypotenuse. Di ba? And that is y over square root of 9 plus y squared. Adaan aton valuehan cosine ng sine. So we can rewrite this equation as masugad. 200 plus 900, that is 1,100 minus the FCD multiplied, and sine theta is diba? And sine theta is y over 9 plus y squared. Okay, that is y over the square root of 9 plus y squared. Times 9 minus FCD. Cosine naman, ang cosine nimo is 3 over the square root of 9 plus y squared. Okay. Times, of course, the y plus 4. This is equal to 0. Yan. So, yan na. Imo unknown duduha. You have an unknown nimo is y and FCD. So, ang imo unknown is the y and FCD. So, diin ka man makuha in another value of FCD and y. So, you need to create another equation kasi because you cannot solve because there are two unknowns. So, magbibiling ka na naman in another equation. O, mabalik kita didihan aton original nga kuan. An original naton nga figure. Let me erase again. Itaan ni dinhi. Let me erase. Okay. Look here. Okay, take note. Kanina, nayakan ako, di ba? May din hi ano din hi? This one is the FD, the force at D. And FD is actually equal to the FCD. Kanina, gin-explain ko ito niya. O yan na, kung mabiling natin ang valuehan FD, mabibilingan natin ang valuehan FCD. Di ba? Makaan ka na naman din, sum of the moments at point ingahaw. Summation of the moment at point. Actually, pwede nga diretso na ladida Anyway, sige. Summation moment at point A, this is equal to 0. Let's take clockwise as the positive moment. Take note, kangina gin-cut naton didi, anya dian aton ginhimo nga force. Tapos yan na, an reaction na naton gagamiton. So, this is equal to, again, this is 50 times 4 plus 100 times 9 minus the FD ha, FD times, mabalik ng kita because diri talaga, wait lang, diri kita kasi maaraman slope. Tama. Diri kita kasi maaraman slope, so we cannot do that. Mabalik lang ang kita niya ding equation. Okay. Okay, perhaps we can sum the moment at point D para mag-start kita ha AB. Okay. So this will be ini magiging force in here. Let's use yellow. Ini hiya, imo nga niigkat dida, magiging force ini hiya, and we'll name that force as the force AB. Okay. So we will sum the moment. So an FCD magiging wala na. Yan. Okay? So we'll sum the moment at point D. Summation of moment at point D that is equal to 0 will take clockwise as the positive moment. So we have magsasamang kita moment. So ang reaction at point D magiging 0 ang iya moment. So never mind na, dili ko na isusurat dila. So this will be mga positive moment. Negative and 100, negative 100 ang iya moment multiplied by 3 minus 50 multiplied by 8. And of course the FAD. May niya component an FAD. May niya component an FADX, ADY I mean, and of course the FADX. Yan. Okay, so plus the FADX multiplied by what's the distance of FADX? What's the distance of this force to D? That is 8. And the distance of FADY minus, plus gihapi plus because clockwise gihapan niya moment. So that is this is FADY pala. FADY multiplied by 8 and this is FADX multiplied by, so this distance, masaya malay ini nga distance. This is 7 minus 4, diba? 7 tas may 4, that is 3. Take note ha, an y kangina ya nga distance. Bangin la kita malapat. An y, asya an adi nga y. An gin-denote naton didi kangina. Ang gin-denote natin dito kanina, ito nga y, this one. This y. Okay? So, we have here, this is 3. This is 3. This is equal to 0. Now, looking at this equation, that there are two unknowns, FADY and FADX, but you can express FADY and FADX in terms of FAD. Diba? So this will be negative 300 minus 50 times 8, that is 400, negative 400, excuse me, plus, we can express FADY as FAD multiplied by Parabolic. We can use this triangle, right? Ini nga triangle. Kadi ko i-isolate ko nga triangle, nasugad ito nga triangle. This is 7 and this is 4. Adi man ang 7, adi naman ang 4. So we can find the hypotenuse, and that is, let me use the calculator. Square root of 7 squared plus 4 squared. That is square root of 65. So this is the square root of 65. So an imo FADY will be 7 over the square root of 65. Yan. Multiplied by 8. So, multiplied by 8. Adi iton hiya ha? Adi iton hiya. Adi na hiyag. And express natin an FADY in terms of FAD, and that is FAD multiplied by 7 over square root of 65. Plus, an FADX gihap, we can express that in terms of FAD, and that is FAD multiplied by 4 over the square root of 65 multiplied by 3. Now, you can, looking at the equation, the only unknown there is FAD. So, you can solve. Okay, let me use again the calculator. So, this will be, negative 300 minus 400, that is negative 700. Negative 700 plus FAD. Let's denote FAD as X because wala man FAD ha calculator. 7 over the square root of 65 times 8. Yan. Plus FAD multiplied by 4 over square root of 65. Yan, multiplied by the moment arm, and that is 3. Solving for X, that is equal to 0. Solving for X, the value of X should be equal to 82.99. So our FAD is 82 point, pero daw? 99. And this is in pounds. Ano na natin FAD na? Answeran na natin ang usa nga segment. Okay? So 82.99. Okay, let me erase this because waray kita space. Let me just erase this one. Anyway, you can rewind naman. Rewind nala. Okay. Tapos, ano yan hinaman nga FAD? I'll just put it here. Wait lang ha. I'll just put it here. Okay. Naglo-loading hiya.
Oo, tapos ang maging hatag is 154.
Okay, ano bang nangyayari? Di rin manadara.
So 154 minus 120. Tara man dapat.
Okay, yan. I'll just put it here ha, for reference purposes later. So FAD is 82.99. Okay na, isa-solve natin an sunod naman an FBC naman. An FBC. Okay, let me just erase. Okay, dito kita at FBC. To solve for FBC, we can use the joint method, di ba? Na, if you can still remember dito han trust, may nakita sinis yung joint method, may nakita sinis ring method of section. Yeah. Gagamitan natin it method of joints. Ada kita at point at joint B. At joint B. Okay, so we have here the x and y component, axis I mean. So may nakita di diha amo din hiya an point B and joint B. Tas dida joint B may da paubos nga force with a magnitude of 50 pound. Tapos tipakadto may da niya amo niya an FAD nga aton na solve. Take note ha, tension always away of the joint because tension man. Tapos may na naton di force, and that is FBC. FBC. Diba? FBC? Yes. FBC. Okay. So, ang atong ginbibiling is the magnitude of FBC. O paano natin mabibilangan? Takay diri natin madadali-dali pagbiling because adi trasong kung ano din natin mabibiling because we don't know the direction of FBC, ini ba? We don't know that direction, the theta. Diri man kita maaram, so we cannot just solve kuan immediately. So what we will do, mag-create kita hindo nga equation because do that imo unknown ang theta, ang direction, and of course the magnitude of the FBC. So this is what we do. We will sum the moment at kuan at x and we will sum the moment at y. So kita the summation of moment, forces pala dili moment. The forces at x axis, it should be equal to 0. So we'll have FBCX di ba ito nga FBC kasi may niya x component, may niya y component. Yan. This is FBCX minus, yep, meron niya X component and FAD, and that is FAD, take note, FADX, oops, FADX, this should be equal to 0. Okay. FBC, we can FBCX, we can solve that because we already know the kuan. Actually, bisan di rin na kita mag to equation 2 unknown because we already know the value of FADX. Di ba? Okay, ini. Sige. The value of FADX is 82. Take note that the value of FAD is 82. So, an FADX is, let's rewrite this, FBCX minus the FAD. Ang FADX kasi is equal to 4, FAD over 4 times 4 over, 65 over 65. Yan. O, mapakianak ka mo, din ko manit kakuha nga 4 over 65. Ano man ang triangle, di ba? The x component, so i-multiply mo ang x component in cosine theta. And cosine theta is equal to 4 over the square root of 65. That's why instead nga cosine theta na kin-multiply ko anya din nga 4 over 65. That's why we have here there 4 over 65. Okay? Please do not be confused. Okay, let me erase that one. Okay, so dili kita. We already have the value of FAD and that is 82.99 right here. 82.99. So this will be FBCX is equal to, pero ba to 82.99? 82.99 multiplied by 4 over the square root of 65. And that is, let me use my calculator, 82.99 multiplied by 4 over the square root of 65. And that is 41.177. FBCX, take note, FBCX pala tiya is 42. Pero ba daw? 41.175 pala. 179. 175. Ano ba yan? 175. This is in pounds. Please don't forget the unit. Take note, direpeto niya ang value ng FBC. Ang FBCX pa lang yan. Okay. We'll solve naman for FBCY. Hindi nala pa. Wala kita space kasi. Okay. So, we'll sum the moment at not the moment, the forces. Summing the forces at y, that is equal to 0. So we'll have FADY minus FBCY minus 50 equal to 0. Yan. Diba? May da kasi ang FAD, may da niya y component, this one, and that is this one, FADY, minus the y component of FBC, that is FBCY, and of course, minus 50 adi. That is equal to 0. Okay? But since we already know the value of FAD, ADY naman, that is FAD, that is 82.99 multiplied by 7 over 65. That is 7 over the square root of 65. Take note again, kung din ko kuha nga 7 over 65, adi ang triangle. Andi di ito nga triangle, di ang original, ini nga triangle. AB. Okay. This is minus FBC minus 50. This is equal to 0. Solving for the value of FBC, this is equal to, let me use my calculator, This is 82.99 multiplied by 7 over the square root of 65. Yan. Minus the FBCX. This is FBCY ngayon. There is FBCX. Okay, minus FBCX. Minus 50. This is equal to 0. We're solving for the value of the FBCX. And that is 22.055. This is 22.055 pounds. Okay? O da. O, with this, makukuha natin ang FBC. Diba? Take note that these are the X and Y component. This is Y component pala. These are the X and Y component of FBC. So we can solve from this. We can solve the FBC. And that is the square root. We are using the Pythagorean theorem. This is 41 FBCX squared plus FBCY squared. 41.175 squared plus 22.055 squared, and that is, let me use my calculator, that is the square root of 41.175 squared plus 22.055 squared. That is equal to 46.77097 or 771. 46.71. 46.71. This is in pounds, of course. Ordinary mo FBC. Yan. Of course, we need the kuan. We need the if we are trying to solve for the theta, and theta aniya, di ba nga theta, aniya direction. That is, theta is equal to the arctangent of FBCY over the FBCX. And this is equal to, let me try to calculate using the calculator. Okay, this will be arctangent of 22.055 over 41.175. This is, equals lang ngayon, there is shift. So, 28.175. So, theta is 28.175. This is in degrees. Okay. Okay ha, ada natin ang FBC. Okay, let me just copy the FBC. Kakadikul habaw-baw. Okay. Ano ba yan? Hindi ko man na copy. Let me, wait lang ha. Ika-copy ko habaw-baw kay para okay, naglo-loading. Naglo-loading siya. Kakali ko habaw-baw. Okay. Ano bang nangyayari? Bakit di rin nakakopy? Okay, surat ko na lang. Di rin mo nakakopy. Surat ko na lang di habaw-baw. This is FBC. This is equal to 46.71 pounds. Yan. Okay. So we have already two of the segment. Okay. So paano man natin masosolve ano sa? Take note, we have ining equation magagamitan it later. O na, wait lang ha. Okay, so to solve for the other force, the other segment, force on the other segment, and that is segment CD. We will take the joint naman. Igsasam natin ang forces at joint C. Okay, so idikit at joint C. At joint C. Yan. At joint C. So we have here the x and y component, x and y axis, and of course we have the forces. We have here the 100 pounds, and of course may didi pira ba adto 46.71 pounds, and I believe we have the angle. Pero ba ito ang angle? 28 point. Let me recall my calculator. Naka-comment didi. 28.17. This angle right here. This is 28.11. 11 ba? 17 pala. 175 or that is 18 na lang. Yan. And of course, ano yan and that is the CD. Okay? Nasolve lagi natin, di ba, an components, an mga components han FBC, and components niya nga force. Di ba, an X component and the Y component. I'll just put it here. Pero ba't ito anira components? For the X component, that is 41.175. That is 41.175. Nasolve ko rin kanina. This is in pounds. And also the Y component, that is 22.055 pounds. Okay? Ang component niya yan. Okay. So of course, yan nigihap yan nigihap nga FCD, may niya X and Y component ini. May niya Y component, may gihap niya X component. So this is F C D X, and of course meron niya gihap di F C D Y. Okay. Okay. So let's sum the moment at X lanay. Not the moment, ano ba yan? Moment na lang. The forces. Let's sum the forces at X equal to 0. So we have FCD X minus, we already have the FCDY, diba? 41.175. 41.175 pounds. This is equal to 0. Wala na, nasolve na natin. FCDX is equal to 41.175 pounds. Oh. And if we sum the forces along Y is equal to 0, that's also equal to 0, we'll have the FCDY plus we have the FBCY, which is 22.055 naman. 22.055. And also this one, minus 100. This is equal to 0. So we can solve the value of the FCDY. CDY. This is equal to 100 minus 22.055. Let me 100 minus 22.055. That is 77.945. 77.945 pounds. Wala na. With this, makukuha natin ang valuehan FCD mismo. Ano masusolve na natin? Okay, so we have there the FCD. We'll use the Pythagorean theorem. Oops, what happened? I'm sorry, na-zoom. So we'll have the force FCD that is equal to the square root of the 41.175. We are using Pythagorean theorem squared plus 77.945. This is 9 squared, of course. Then the FCD therefore is equal to, let me use the calculator again, that is the square root of 41.175 squared plus 77.945 squared. That is 88.152. 88.152. This is in pounds, don't forget. So this is your value for FCD. Okay. So 88.175. Okay. Gagamitin natin ini nga value. Let me just put it here. Wait lang. Okay, dit naman nadara. Pero daw, if 88.152. Okay, let me erase this one, ha? 88.152. Wala kasi space. That is FCD, that is 88 point, diba to? 152. 152, that is in pounds. Yan. Okay, let me erase.
Ako problema tayo mo ko, ang tab.
Nagluluding ang but kung kaya ano. Okay, so we already have the value of FCD. Diha, 88.152. Aton nga yung i-substitute nga di, i-substitute nga natin nga di din aton kanina na himong equation, makukuha natin ang valuehan y. Okay? Makukuha natin ang valuehan y. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so when you substitute this one, substitute natin ini nga di ada man, tas nga di gihap. Substitute natin dito nga da. So we will get 110 1,100 minus, calculator ko na lang sa substitute, hindi ko na isusurat, basta kay substitute niyo. Okay, we'll have 1,100 minus, compute ko talaga yun, ha, FCD multiplied by okay, store lang natin ng FCD, 88.152. 88.152, that is the value of FCD. Store ko hiyang ato A para dili ko na sinurat. Okay, so we have here 1,100 minus the FCD, which I stored at A, multiplied by do y. Exit akong gagamiton, ha, a calculator. Square root of 9 plus y squared or x squared in the calculator times 9 minus the FCD, which I stored again at A, multiplied by 3 over the square root of 9 plus y squared or x squared to calculator, multiplied by y plus 4. Yan. Equals to 0. We're solving for the value of FCD. The answer is 18 point. Dako man. This is impossible. 18.914. Let me try again. There must be something wrong with my solution. So this will be 50 times 4. 100 times 9, correct? If CDY times 9, if CDX times 4 plus 1. That's correct. Correct gap it yadi. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Let me just, okay, opposite, okay. Correct man. What's wrong? Let me check my calculator. Baka mali na pag-input. Check mo ang pag-input. Because 18 is very, let's say, mga 4. Okay, tama. Kay quadratic yan nga equation. So when you are dealing with an equation of higher degree, di ba, there are many values of x. Di ba? So for example, if your equation is cubic, there are 3 values of x. There are 3 roots. That's why kanina nakuha nato ng 18, nakuha, didi gihap, may pwede gihap 5.676. Okay? So our answer, our y, is equal to 5.676. This is in feet. 5.676. Okay. Yan. So we have y. Masasolve na natin ang length han kuan. Total length han cord, han cable. So that will be the total length denoted by capital letter L is equal to the length of AB. This one, the length of AB, kita, explain ko dito ini. Okay, the length of AB can be easily found because given na anyan hi. Kumbaga, if this is the triangle, ini nga triangle ito atong kikitaon, may daan na niya didi side, that is 7, that is 4. Makukuha na nimuan, iya hypotenuse. Diba, dayon? So, we will use the Pythagorean theorem in finding for the length AB. Actually, nasolve na natin ito kanina. Hindi ko nakikita pa niyo ikuan. Okay, so for AB, of course, AB plus BC plus CD. Okay, yan. So, didi AB, AB nimo is the square root of 7 squared plus 4 squared plus, and BC naman nimo, this is the square root of 5. Okay, waray kita pa. Pero marang kita kasi ang kuan, di ba? We know the angle at kuan. If you can still remember, let me kuan at point B nga how at point B. Di ba nagkuha kita at joint B kanina? At joint B nag-create kita naghimo kita ginsam naton and forces at joint B. Tapos meron naton dida theta. Ginsolve naton dida kanina ang theta, di ba? Let me recall my calculator. Ato pa ito. Pero ba adto? Sorry na. Pero ba adto? I forgot. Waray ko ka surat na. Okay, let me recall the live. Wait lang ha. Wait lang. I-recall ko lang it live. 28.175. It's here. 28.175. That's the theta. Okay. 28.175. We cannot use the Pythagorean theorem because di kita maaramhan okay, adi. Explain ko lang kung kaya yung kailangan natin ang theta. Because from this triangle, ini nga triangle, ibang kulay color. Ini nga triangle, ini ang triangle. Take note, this is theta. Let me erase. Okay. Masamok naman ini nga akong kuan. Wait lang. It atong ginbibiling is this distance. Ano ba yan? Joker, binalikman. Yan. Okay, ang ibibiling ini nga distance and BC. But we can create this, we have this, ano tawag ini? Triangle. Ini nga triangle ba? And ini nga theta, amo na adtuan, ano ito nga theta? 28.175. Surat ko lang didi. Bakit ko hingalimtan? Theta is 28.175. This is in degrees. Okay, we need that theta to solve this distance. Diba? Anyway, maaraman kita compare nga distance. Kahit nga distance, ano man? 5. 5. Okay. So, kailangan natin ng hypotenuse. Kung ano man hindi da? Right triangle. So, we'll use cosine theta is equal to the adjacent, and that is 5 over the hypotenuse. Amo na atong ginbibiling. Diba? And the hypotenuse niya is NBC. So, NBC is equal to 5 over cosine theta. We already have the value of theta right here. Okay, so 5 over cosine 28.175. Surat ko dito dayon. Okay, surat ko dito dayon ha. So, ang atong BC is parado 5 over cosine 28.175. Yan. BC. Ang CD plus CD. O, ang CD, wala kita pag-solvehan angle. Di ba? Wala kita pag-solvehan angle. But we already know the value of... Okay. Zoom ko again. Sana dili ka muna lilipungan dito pag zoom out. Okay. Okay, ini di ba? Ini nga distance, ini nga distance. Amo ito na aton y kangina, di ba? So we can use this triangle again. Ini nga triangle. Right triangle lagi hapit hiya, ini nga triangle. This one, ini. Okay, and this distance is y. We already know that, and that is nasolve na naton, pero adto ba? Adi ubos 5.565. Okay, and this distance is 3. So, masasolve natin ang iya hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem. Mara makita nga distance, that is y. Tapos, ano naman ang distance, that is 3. Masasolve natin ang hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem. Again, is the Pythagorean theorem. Okay. Wait lang. So, use the Pythagorean theorem, that is the square root of... Yellow na ako nagamit. 3 squared plus pera and y, ano naman and y, 5.676 squared. Makukuha na natin ang valuehan L. L is equal to, let me use the calculator, square root of 7 squared plus 4 squared plus 5 over the cosine of 28. 28. Sana ba yun? 28.175 plus the square root of 3 squared, pero wait, 3 squared plus 5.676 squared. That is 20.154. This is 20. Pero daw 154. Yes. 154. This is in, of course, in feet. This is your final answer. So, answer na natin ang pakiana. Take note, ang ipapakiana, ang length, and segment. Alin na, FAD, dili ang length, and forces ngayon, and tension. FAD, FBC, and FCD, nasolve na natin. Tapos, ang total length of the cable, that is 20.154 feet. Okay? So, that's how you solve. Okay, so, I guess, kung nagsosolve ka mo kung nagsosolve ka mo sugad nga types of cable, masayon la, kay, you can just use the joint method, tapos imo malaging gagamit actually, ang principle lang nga imo na ibaruan dito ang physics. Di ba ang physics pala, ada na ini. Ada pa ang statics, ada pa ang, strength of materials, ura-ura na la.
Asa kasi ulit-ulit na nakatsi talaga.
Okay, but I want you to focus on this one, ini nga problem. Okay, let's have this problem. Okay, before kita ko madidira nga problem, didilanan kita, may nakula na i-discuss, kadali ay. Okay. So, suppose we have a cable. So, God, dili kita support, kita fixed. Hinge or pin. Tapos meron din pin. And tapos may cable dida. Diri perfect tak cable. Perfect. Charot. Okay. Dayakan daw if the load nga nag-act dito nga kuan hini nga cable, if the load that acts on this cable is tawag nga load, uniformly distributed load, then the cable will form a parabolic curve. Okay parabolic curve ya. So kung parabolic curve nga ni, you can apply the square property of the parabola. Parabola ba? Parabolic curve. Okay. So ini nga distance, this distance is what we call the L, denoted by L. Tapos this point right here, the lowest point and pinaka lowest point hansag. Take note ha, the supports are of the same elevation. Okay, ini naman nga distance, and pinakasag, tika didihan support nga didihan sag, ito nga distance, that is denoted by D. Okay? That is denoted by D. And okay, kung aton ikakat dida, masarang didi. We have here the left support. Tapos nasugad. Okay, tapos adi didi. Okay, ini nga distance, this is D, and this is L over 2. Okay? Tas din may dida sinisaring aniya tension, that is ano ba ito niya nga tension, denoted by H, horizontal tension. And of course din may niyan it value di gihap, may niya H, tiklot pareho ha. Tapos may niya kuan an iya vertical, di ba kay hinge man, di ba it hinge to the height forces along the horizontal and along the vertical. So let's name this A kuan na lang, AY. This is point A and this is point B. Okay? What I'm trying to say is all throughout the cable ha, may kita hindi nga quantity nga H, the horizontal. Kasi kung imo nga ni i-cut din panagitan imo i-cut dida and cable, tas i-isolate mo, masugad dili ka na adi ani mo ging cut din ito niya may dagyapit dida niya H lagyap ito niya, ito nga quantity nga H. Ang pagkakaiba la kay may da na niya horizontal component. Unlike kung at the lowest point, hansag niya, aadto dito ang valuehan H para niya horizontal vertical component. So ibig sabihin, ang pinaka the point didtohan kuan han curve nga may pinakaguti nga stress or pinakaguti nga force nga tensile force is at the pinakabut nga kung kuan hiya kung symmetric unloading and also if the supports are of the same elevation. So ang pinakaguti nga stress aadto didtohan pinakahabubo nga kuan nga location han cable. And also as you go kumbaga ani din yan pinakabubo tas kung natikabaw ka nga din nagtitika dugang it iya stress because aside from the horizontal nga force nadudugan hiyahin tension di ba tas pag if you at this point may nagyap niya horizontal may nagyap di tension nagtitika dako ang tension and that the maximum force and pinaka maximum nga tension dida is dida hen kuan han support mismo kabila ni horizontal may da pa niya ang tension ang pinakadako ang tension niya di ba. And if you get the equivalent force of these two, of course, you will use the Pythagorean theorem. Amo nito niya ang sinisiring nga tension. Tension, the highest tension on the cable. Okay? The highest tension on the cable. Okay, so paano man ay natin hiyagin, may dakala formula nga i-share ha iyo. Okay, so this one right here. So pananglitan this is the lowest point. Okay. And say this distance is that is L over 2 or let's denote it as x because it's along the x axis. And this distance is y. Okay, y. Because it's along the y axis or that is d. D hiya kung hiya ang pinakahabubo. Kumbaga ang sag, the sag. Okay, and also may da niya force din of course dapat may da force nga nag-aakta iya and that force the magnitude of that force this is denoted as W and ano pa this is A and adiobos this is O tas may da nimo dida H of course may da nimo didi H gihap and may da nimo didi AY. Okay. Based on this figure, you want to create a formula. Magsasum kita at moment at A, this is equal to 0. We'll take clockwise as the positive moment. Then we'll have mga positive moment. Ano di nga W, di ba? That is W multiplied by X. That is the magnitude of the force pala multiplied by the moment arm, that is X over 2. Minus, ano din naman nga H? H multiplied by pera. The distance from A, that is Y. Y, this is equal to 0. Yan. So, rearranging this equation in terms of Y, this will be Y is equal to WX squared over 2H. Yan. This is one of the formula. Y, take note ha, Y, ito niya an difference in elevation between the support and the point where you are considering at. Okay, so for example, sayop dire. That is the Y is the distance from the lowest point tikan dito it sag at O didi at O. For example, if you are considering this point, for example lang ha, if you are considering this point, iton nga Y ini nga distance. Adi nga naman nga point itin ko consider, iton nga y ini naman nga distance. Kung adi nga point, iton nga y ito nga distance. Okay? Pero kung if you are considering the point on the support, that distance is actually denoted by D na. Ibig sabihin, D is the maximum y. Nako ha? Okay. Basta asya itiya. And also your x naman is the distance from the lowest point or ano ba tawag ito from the origin. Tas ang distance to the point you are considering kung parang litan adi animin ko consider nga point. Ito nga distance nga x amo hiya nga distance. O kung adi naman nga point, ang distance nga animin ko consider is this distance. Okay? So basta tigamit niyo nga equation. Okay, and also take note kung maximum kung maximum na kuan, if you are considering the maximum and pinaka-maximum nga tension, the point where the maximum tension occurs, amo nito niya and y nagiging kuan, nagiging d, di ba? D tapos an imo x, okay. Adi. Take note kung ano mo yung consider is the lowest kuan, tas adi ano mo yung kung ano mo yung consider ang maximum tension, di ba? Nasa ako ang maximum tension na ada didit support. Okay. So ano mo consider nga x is this distance from the tikan DD, the lowest point ngadto didtohan support. That is ano mo yung consider nga x. And that distance is equal to L over 2. Di ba? Kay tikan DD from here to here is L. So, tikan dida nga that is L over 2. Okay, so ang x ni mo magiging L over 2 squared 2 times h. So, this will be D is equal to WL squared over 4. 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8. This is 8h. Yan. So, rearranging this equation in terms of W, this will be W is equal to 8dh over L squared. Okay, this is another formula. Okay. Kaya tigam ni nga formula. Dili kita answer kita tini nga problem. Okay, so ang gipapa-answeran, kaya basahin lang natin ini. The suspension bridge in the figure is constructed using the two stiffening trusses that are pin connected at their ends, end C, and supported by a pin at A and the rocker at B. Okay ha? Pin daw didi ha A, tapos didi is rocker. So usala it kuan. Usala it reaction. Determine the maximum tension in cable IH. So ang papabiling maximum tension. O take note ha, it maximum tension happens at ang pinakahitaas. Ang pinakahitaas, it's either I or H. Okay, it's either ani dinhi or ani dinhi. O later kikitaon ta. The cable has a parabolic shape and the bridge is subjected to a single load of 50 kN. Adilaan niya load. Okay, adilaan niya load. So if we get if we draw the free body diagram, it would look like this. Okay. Duha di an reaction because kuan man indidi kumbaga pin man iton hiya. Didi duha gihap. Didi pin daw at A ngayon rocker didi at B. Okay? So meron nimo AX, EY, tas didi meron nimo BY. Okay, and the distance of the 50 kN from the right support, that is 9 meters. So this is your free body diagram. Take note, ang impapabiling haimo is the maximum tension in the cable. The maximum tension. Okay, so paano man ito naton mabibilngan? Masal kita. An aton gintutuyo is, take note ha, another principle nga wala ko yakang kanina. Pero nayakan ko pero wala ko ka-emphasize. Okay, I just want to emphasize this one. If you have a cable nga magpareho it elevation it iya support, the horizontal force din is H, di ba? The horizontal force gap DD is H. Now I want to reiterate this one, kumbaga i-highlight nga it horizontal forces at both support are equal. The horizontal forces are both support for a parabolic curve are equal. That's why if you can see here, however, if H ngayon, if H DD, di ba? Magpareho it iya magnitude dinhi. Ang ipapabiling ha aton is the maximum tension dinhi. Ibig sabihin, ito nga maximum tension, that's actually the equivalent forces of IH and FH. dinhi. Amo ito yung papabiling. Okay. So, paano man natin bibilngon? No? Didi kita. Magsum kita at point B. Dili kita pwede magsum at point A because magsum kita point A, mawawaraan ay Y. Di ba magzi-zero? At yung moment kasi magzi-zero. So, mawawara hiya. Magsama ni kita didi at H, mawawara hiya an FH. Magsama ni kita anywhere else, damoy imo unknown. Magdadamoy imo unknown, madugang diri ka solve and problem. So, we will sum the moment here at point B. Sum the moment at point B. This is equal to 0. Of course, we will take the clockwise as the positive moment. Positive moment, we have AY. Diba, adi? Positive here multiplied by 24. And of course, plus IY. We have 24 also. Minus 50 kilonewton, that is 50 kilonewton multiplied by 9. And also the FH. Diri ko na makukuha niya FH kasi magkukuha kasi ya, di ba? Anya ni nga FH, magbabalance out lahan niya din nga FH. Kasi di ko na isusulat, this is equal to 0. So, ang imo unknown din if we divide all the terms by 24, this will be AY plus IY. AY plus IY, tsaka man kasurat. This is 0. This is AY plus IY minus 50 times 9 over 24. It's equal to 0 over 24 is still 0. Okay, so this will be AY plus IY 50, pera ba itong hiya? 50 times 9 24. Uy, bangin tuloy na ka mo. Ikaw mo ba? Bangin ako mag-iya. Sige lang kay kuan mala ako, harani man la ako. 18.75. This is 18.75. 75 ba? Okay, 18.75. This is your equation number 1. Okay, so maka din naman kita didi, ikakat naton didi. Ikakat naton. Next, ikakat ko din hi. Okay? Pag imo ging cut, adi ito nit imo ano ba tawag ini? Free body diagram. Adit imo free body diagram. Meron imo FH didi, same lang haw. O magsasam na naman kita at point C. Para the same unknown lang haw. Summation of moment at point C, this is equal to 0. Of course, we will take the clockwise as the positive moment again, and we will have AY times 12 plus IY times 12. Ano pa? Waray na, di ba? Minus, adila nga FH, adila na FH multiplied by 6, tas adi naman nga FH. Diri minus plus iton hiya. Minus, ano din nga FH? Minus space. FH multiplied by 14. This is equal to 0. So, this is 12 AY plus 12 IY. Iga-add ko la. Subtract 6 minus 14. That is negative 8. Kasi ita-transpose ko nga halo yung maging positive. So, this will be equal to 8 FH. Masya ba? 8, 9, 10. Yes. That's correct. Tapos divide both sides of the equation by 12. So, magiging AY plus IY is equal to 8H. Ano HH? FH pala. HH. If H. FH. Mayroon pa ba namamati hak? Okay, so this is our equation number 2. O, kitaa daw.
Mulo.
This is our equation number 2. Okay. Kitaan natin ito aton equation nga ginhimo. Okay, do that equation AY and IY. AY plus IY is equal to 18.75 and AY plus IY is equal to 8F FH. So pareho era AY plus IY. So we can actually di ba? We can actually ano ba tawag ini? Tawag ito madam, combine or substitute or equate nangalimot ako yung terms. We can actually equate because pareho man lahira AY plus IY tas adigap AY plus IY. So it follows that we can say that the 18.75, this one is also equal to 8FH. Tama ini ba? Okay, pareho man hira. Masasolve natin ang FH. And that is 18.75 divided by 8. And that is 2.343. 2.343. 343. This is in kilonewton. Wala na kita FH. But that's not yet the final answer. Take note, balikitan gi papakiana ha. Ang papakiana anya ding of force, the tension. May kita FH, we just need to find for the value of IY. Paano man natin mabibilngan iton?
Grabe ka sa kanila.
Ang bibiling is IY na ano. Oh my God, wait lang. We can sum the forces. May nakita FH. Ang bibili nila is IY. Ginlabada, mama.
Ha? Next week?
Okay. Parang mali ako na answer. Wait lang.
Next week?
Mali ako na answer. Wait lang. There's something wrong with my solution. Wait lang ha. Ay, wait lang. Okay, wait lang. There's something wrong with my solution. I forgot to divide this this one. Dapat gin-divide ko pa in 12. Nangalimutan kayo, di ba? Gin-divide natin both sides of the equation by 12. So there's something wrong with my solution. Okay, let me rewrite this again. Okay, so this should be 8 over This should be 8 over 12. May dapat dida 12. So this is 18.75. 8 over divided by 8 over 12. And that is 28.125. 28.125. This is in kilonewton. So that should be your FH. Okay, so next, if you can remember, di ba, solve natin kanina, nagataga kayo ng equation kanina. This one right here, this, okay, ini. Ini nga duduha nga equation. Okay, let me draw the situation. Parang from the pinakasag, of course, dididian mo H. Tapos meron mo din yung mga forces. Okay, tapos meron din this distance is this is the D, and this distance is the L over 2. Okay, and didi may lagyap nimo H, and nga tabaw may nimo that is the let's name that AY, or okay, so this is W. Okay, for our case, okay, let's relate this to our case. Wait lang ha. Okay, gamit tayo mga letters nga gamit dito. Instead nga A, this is ano bang gamit natin dito? FH and IY. Okay. This is FH and IY. Yan. Asya na natin yung gamit. Ang ginbibili natin is the IY. Ba? Ang ginbibili natin is IY. So we need to find for the equivalent W first. So masarin kita. Adi man ang formula. W is equal, or the applied force, the equivalent applied force. Because ano na? Technically kasi ang gin-applied kasi didilaton is the 50 kilonewton lang. But it aton kagamiton didi ano na? And it aton gagamiton because this is parabolic kasi ang curve, di ba? So ibig sabihin, the curve is subjected to a uniformly distributed load. You just can't see it because ang ginhatag dida is man may da man tawag ito ang mga truss, may niya dida truss. Ang truss naman subjected to a 50 kilonewton load. Tas ang truss naman gikarry niya ang 50 kilonewton, tas adto nga load ita-transfer niya nga tuhan cable. Tas ang cable nakaka-experience siyahin uniformly distributed load, and that is W, and we need to find that magnitude, that force using this formula. And this is 8 multiplied by the D, the distance. I believe we have this distance na, di man? The man 8, di ba? The man, the distance from the lowest point to the highest point is 8. So we can use that distance na. Okay, so that is the distance D is 8 multiplied by 8, and H is the FH. Ini nga H. FH man na natin gingamit, gin-denote dito natin problem. Nasolve na natin ang FH, and that is 28.125. It's ready. 28.125 over L over 2. Take note, L is the span of the cable from support to support, horizontal distance from support to support. So from I to H, that is 24. Di man? 24. Adi man? Adi nakabutang dito 24. Okay, so this will be multiplied by 24 squared. So makukuha naman W, and that is 8 times 8 multiplied by 28.125 squared over 24 squared. So this will be 87 point, pero ba it here? 87.89. This is in kilonewton per meter. Okay, so this is the value for W. Meron na mo W, yan na, it aton na to solve is the value of the IY. Magsasum kita at moment. Excuse me. Magsasum kita at moment at this point, and this is point ano tiya dida? Point C. Okay. Wait lang ha. Adi at point C, tama at point C. So magsasum kita dinhi at the moment at this point. This is I, and this is C. We're summing the moment at point C is equal to 0. Of course, we are taking clockwise as the positive moment. So, mga positive moment dida, we have IY multiplied by, pero at distance, 12. This distance, the L over 2 is equal to 12, diba? Because L is equal to 24, L over 2 is 12. So, this is IY times 12 minus IY times 12. Ini naman, that is FH. That the value of FH is 28.125 multiplied by, what's the distance? And value D, that is 8. This distance, ini nga distance, the value of 8 is. Minus, of course, the, hindi na kinikita ada takon. Tapos susulat, hindi ko na laubos ibubutang. Minus, of course, the W naman. Ang W. Ano ba itong nga W? Aliman, 87.89. 87.89 multiplied by 12. Diba? Because L over 2 is 12. Yung nga distance. That's just the magnitude. Multiplied the moment arm pa. That is 12 over 2. And that is 6. This is equal to 0. Na makakasob na kitahan IY. And this is equal to, let me use the calculator. Nagdadagbit na ako. 28. Transpose ko nga to ha right side, ini magiging positive. So, this is 28.125 multiplied by 8 plus 87.89 multiplied by 12 times 6. Okay. This is equal to, tapos i-divide ko pa rin 12. Makukuha IY. And that is equal to 5 for, kaya ba ito? Hay na, calculator. 546.09. Parang ang laki. 546.09. Parang dako man, ano? 28.125. Dako liwat ang kuan, dako liwat ang equivalent load. Okay, so kita on tala ko na siya answer. IY, okay? May nakita IY, may nakita FH, may nakita IY, may nakita FH. Ada? O, to solve naman for the tension. Mabalik kita nga di. Explain ko kung paano natin isosolve tension. Kaya, may na nakita IY, may na nakita FH. So, masosolve na natin ining attention. Ining attention. So, paano man? Oh, Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem dito niya. Balik kita nga di. Malipong na ano, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. Okay, dili kita to solve for the T, we have the square root of 28.125 kilonewton squared plus, parang dako talaga 546. Naradakuan ako. Pero ba answer? Sayop ada ako 87. Wait lang. Here daw. Let me, what's the value of L? What's the value of L? 24. Ano na, let me try to solve the W again. 8 times 8. Ano bang maligyap-tak formula? Solving for the W. 8dh over L squared. Asya naman. Times 28.125 over 24 squared. Oh, shucks. 3.125 na ngayon, 87. O, diba? Dire 87 din eh. This is 3.125. This is 3.125 lang kayan. 3.125. This is in kilonewton meter. O, diba? You have to be very careful. Diin daw lakad ito nga 87. Kada ko umanit 87 times. Kuan. Okay. 546. Oo. Kay 28 lang kuan and H. Tapos pero ka kuan 3.125. So this is wrong. Let me erase. Okay. So calculator again. Okay, calcula didi. This is 28. I-recall ko nala. Okay, may calculator kami naman recall. Sana all may recall. 3.125 is equal and divided by 12, and that is 37.5. Parang mas confident akit 37. 37.5. This is in kilonewton. Wala, may natawag kang kanain.
Yung mga nagsisave pa.
Sir Mark, mauna ako ha.
Ano huwag nasisig?
Nag-trim na ako ba yung save as you?
Save as new. May da.
Yung nakiklik ang button.
Na ano man la? Diri. Ikaw na preview la na yung August. Indot at preview. 30. No, broken kaya ano?
Broken man. Sabi ninyo rin pwede mag-load.
Mamay na po.
Ang but.
Pag-trim na ako.
Paray pada ko. Diri pada nakaka-load, madam. This is T is equal to. Direpit nakaka-load, madam.
Hindi na save as you.
Mauna ako ha. Kaya mag-ino pa ako.
Sige, oo. Square root of 28.125.
Ano yung pa kayo mamark?
Ano?
Or naka-end.
Plus 37.5 squared.
Sorry.
This is equal to 46. So this is the answer. 46.875.
Yes, I will buy right now.
This is in kilonewton. Oh, this is the final answer. Okay, makapoy. Okay, that's the final answer, ha?
Bye guys. Bye class.
Bye
See
daw.
you tomorrow by Marina.
Okay, see you tomorrow daw. Ma'am Rina will be
And
having
that's 1 hour.
her
See you
lecture.
tomorrow.
Okay, sige. That's the final answer. Okay, so for your practice exercise, just a reminder lang ha, your practice exercises and una niyo mga practice exercises and akong discuss, the deadline is on Friday. That would be tomorrow. And for your practice exercises for this topic, I'll give you later na lang. Ihatag ko ha GC and practice
Wala
exercises.
ako Monday.
Hmm.
Nag-post na ako kanina.
Kasi ipopost ko later, pati ang deadline. Okay? So, if you don't have any concern na,
Ninitig na kami.
may na pa ba iba ka concern? Walay naman ada. Okay, sige.
Tapos ka na?
Okay, sige. This is the end of my discussion for today. And see you again.
Kaya pa? Kaya pa? May
See you
nakapos
again
na
tomorrow.
sa discussion.
Ma'am Rina will be having her discussion. Thank you and God bless.